Good morning, everybody. Oh, can we try that one more time? I feel like I need a really robust morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you. Okay, that started the day wonderful. Well, hello to everybody here in person, to everybody in Zoom. It's so wonderful to be here on this Sunday morning and to see the kids in front. I love seeing you guys, so it's wonderful to see you. Let me try to get my position first, and then we'll be here to start the day. So my name is Becca, and I will be helping to lead this service today. So many wonderful things that we're going to be celebrating today. It's All Souls Day, I believe is the term, as well as it's a celebration of the amazing work we did on the pledge drive. So whether you are on Zoom or it's your first time, your 150th, you know that you're welcome here because this is our community. I have two more announcements to share. In terms of the Friendly Feast After, we are also wanting to try something new or bring it back in terms of our members on Zoom. We would love for you to stay afterwards for the Friendly Feast on Zoom. I know you don't have much notice, but we'd love to be able to visit with you. I believe we plan to have a laptop at one of the tables so the congregants can all come up and talk to you on Zoom. The other announcement is my favorite announcement for this morning. So as you guys know, over the past 6 weeks, we have had the pledge drive. And y'all have done it. Our goal was $145,000. Our total is $147,971. And it all starts literally with one person. It's easy to see that number and realize, it's a great number, but it starts with one person. And all of you, even if you weren't able to pledge, we still love you. You still bring amazing energy here. So we did this together. So today we are going to celebrate this magnificent goal. And we're going to be able to help the community in so many ways. So thank you for your generosity and your kindness. I'm so proud to be here with y'all. So the chalice lighter today in the sanctuary. Oh, before I do that, one more thing, sorry. At the Friendly Feast, we're also going to have raffle tickets for those who pledge, but also for everybody that's attending the Friendly Feast. And so at the Friendly Feast, you'll get a ticket. So that's one thing I just wanted to share too. Let's go ahead and light the chalice. The chalice lighter in the sanctuary today is Eric. Thanks, Eric. The chalice lighting words are by Reverend Michelle LaGrave in honor of All Souls Day. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us. The words are going to be on the screen for Rise Up Old Flame.
Hello, my name is Colin. I use he, him pronouns. I am a frazzled dad in my 30s with a black and white checkered shirt today. And I help out with our children's program here at First UU. And I have a story. I really love this story. So I hope it helps us in this time where we're remembering those who have passed on, our loved ones, our pets. This is The Remember Balloons by Jesse Oliveros, illustrated by Dana Wolfacata, maybe. I have lots and lots of balloons, way more than my little brother. This one's my favorite, I tell him, pointing to the balloon filled with my last birthday party. When I look at it, I can see the pony again. I can still taste the chocolate frosting. Mom and dad have more balloons than I do. Grandpa has lived so long, he has more balloons than all of us together. And the stories he has inside those balloons, they're better than ponies and chocolate frosting. What's in your yellow balloon? I ask him. Grandpa's eyes light up. We just come back from picking blackberries along the muddy banks of the creek. Our berry-splattered faces gave Aunt Nell's cows such a fright, she didn't make milk for days. What about that blue one, Grandpa? Oh, that's the time I lost my favorite dog, Jack. Grandpa chuckles. I found him chasing butterflies next to the schoolhouse. Only Jack could get me to school on a Saturday. And that one? I point to a purple balloon above his head. Grandpa looks up and smiles, his face alive with remembering. That's the day I married your grandma in the little church on Cedar Lane. We danced that night under the stars, and oh, how I loved her. I don't have to ask him about the silver balloon because I have that one too. That was the day we stood on the dock till the sun went down, feeling tug after tug on our lines. Grandpa and I must have caught 1,000 fish. Grandpa ruffles my hair like he always does. That's one of my favorite balloons. Mine too, I say. But Grandpa's been having problems with his balloons lately. One will get caught in a tree and he'll tell me the same story over and over. Let me tell you about the Christmas I went to Aunt Nell's farm, Grandpa says, even though he had just finished telling me about it. Other times, a balloon will float right out of his hand, and he won't even know it. It's okay, Grandpa, I yell as I run after it. Every time I almost reach it, but it always slips away. Something's wrong with Grandpa, I tell my parents. He can't hold on to his balloons anymore. Mom looks at me with sad eyes. That happens sometimes when people grow older. Grandpa's balloons start floating away faster and faster. Running down streets and up hills, I watch the balloons grow smaller. He finally loses the silver one. I watch it float away until I can't see it anymore. Why did you let it go? I yell. That was our balloon. Then I sit on the sidewalk and cry. I feel Grandpa pat my back, but he doesn't ruffle my hair like he always did. Why are you crying, child? There's nothing to cry about. One day I go to see him and all his balloons are gone. Grandpa, I say, but he doesn't look at me. It'll be okay, Dad says. Look up. I have new balloons now. A yellow one filled with blackberries and a cow. A blue one filled with Grandpa and his favorite dog. A purple one filled with a wedding day. See, Mom says, now they're yours to share. So I climb into Grandpa's lap and begin telling him about my new balloons. Thank you. And now we're ready to sing the children downstairs to their classes if they'd like. With On Your Way, those words will be up on the screen.
Hello,
yeah, you too, Xavier.
Good morning. My name is Mike, and I just found out I've lost most of my balloons. Yes, I come here every Sunday because I'm very seldom the oldest person in the room. And so I've got a lot of compatriots around. This is the All Souls Remembrance. Michelle has done me the favor of letting me share the stage with her up here tonight or today. As we begin our All Souls Remembrance, where we remember those people and pets who have died in the last year, I want to share a series of quotes that I came from an article I read recently as I processed my own grief at the death of my older sister, Jackie, and my dear friend, Charles Gray. The article is called The Unbroken Circle, Grief as Love's Most Enduring Voice, and the writer goes by the name of Bedic Soul.
There is a silence that arrives in the wake of loss. It is not an empty silence, but a dense, heavy one, filled with the echoes of a voice that will never again form new words in this world. Yet in the intimacy of our own hearts, we know that the words "be strong," "time will heal," and "move on" often fail us. They fail because they do not see what grief truly is.
Grief is not a weakness to be cured, nor a temporary crack in the smooth road of our lives. It is love itself, stripped of its comforts, raw in its longing, honest in its ache. To grieve is to love stubbornly, to refuse to let the dictates of form negate the truth of feeling.
When a loved one departs from our sensory world, the love we felt for them does not simply vanish. It remains a powerful, undirected current of energy. Grief is that love, persisting. It is love made tangible in its purest state.
In our grief, we are stripped bare. This is not a weakness. It is the very signature of a profound capacity to love.
The love we feel does not belong to the body, the personality, or the form of the beloved alone. It was our soul's recognition of something timeless within them. The grief we feel is that love, now unmoored from its familiar harbor, beginning its journey to discover its own eternal source.
When we fully honor our own sorrow, we suddenly recognize it in the eyes of every other being. Our personal loss becomes the gateway to universal compassion. Sorrow becomes no longer a torture, but a deepening and a revelation.
And so we come to understand that love never ends. It only changes its expression. The chapter of earthly relationship closes, but the story of love continues in a different language.
Peace unto your individual soul. Peace unto the journey of your beloved. Peace unto the universal heart that holds you both forever one.
Peace to those we will name here today in our beloved memory and those who still mourn their absence. Wait for the slides to come. Just Adam, can you put the slides up for All Souls?
Right here. E.W. Graves.
William Bill White Jr.
Barbara Watson.
Charles Gray.
Beth Spindler.
Lillian Rorick.
The Reverend Dr. John Bennett.
Jacqueline Lindsay Bramer.
My parents, Edward and Alberta Bramer.
Monsignor Philip Bucher.
James Harry Fitch.
Wilbur and Josephine Plummer.
Jane.
Iro.
Felix and Mandy.
Please join us in a moment of silence as we remember these and so many others who remain in our hearts. Thank you.
Our words of invitation are When Great Trees Fall by Maya Angelou. When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe briefly. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promise walks never taken. Great souls die, and our reality, bound to them, takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink, wizened. Our minds formed and informed by their radiance fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whisper to us. They existed. They existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. Our hymn of the month for November is for the beauty of the earth. The words of this hymn poem come from British classicist and poet Folliot Soinfer Pierpoint. He died in 1917. For the beauty of the earth has been widely adopted and adapted by many faith traditions, including Unitarian Universalists. It was number 32 in the 1937 Universalist hymnal, which was explicitly for use in the churches of the Free Spirit. It was number 12 in the 1964 Unitarian Universalist hymnal. In both cases, there are 3 verses, and the refrain begins, Lord of all, to thee we raise. Singing the Living Tradition, our 1993 Gray hymnal, has 4 verses, and the words that begin the refrain are, source of all, to thee we raise. Let us sing together for the beauty of the earth. It's number 21 in the Gray hymnal, and the words will be on both screens. We will sing verses 1, 3, and 4. You are welcome to stand or remain seated as we lift our voices together.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey.
My name's Pharaoh. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a white lady in my 40s with wavy brown hair, wearing a big warm green sweater today. Okay, as a community, we share joys and concerns to keep connected. Slips of paper are available at the greeters table for those in the sanctuary to use for joys and concerns. And during the week, you can send your joys and concerns by email to pastoralcare@springfielduu.org or by leaving a voicemail on the church phone, which is 417-883-3922. And if you're on Zoom, please use the chat box now for sharing your joys and concerns. All of these joys and concerns will be included in the members' email on Tuesday, and we will honor each joy or concern with a candle. No, with stones. We're doing stones. We honor each joy or concern with a stone dropped in a shared bowl of water, representing the ripple effect in all our lives. This morning, we invite anyone in the sanctuary who would like to come drop the stones for us. All right. We got Mark and Mike and Rick and Holly. Thanks, y'all. And now, as we begin this time of sharing, know that though we are in multiple physical spaces, we are together in beloved community. So to begin, we hold and love all of us, those present and those absent. We drop a stone for our church community. Got a bunch today. From Roberta and Emily. They say, thanks to all for your generosity of time and money this past year for fundraising. So we drop a stone of joy for all the great fundraising happening here at First UU. This is from an anonymous member, a concern. It says, a fellow member is sick and needs lots of love and energy from us, their UU family. So we'll drop a stone of concern and hopefully reach out and give some love to this person. We have a joy from Becca Gray. My niece and her boyfriend just got engaged. Sending love to the two of them. We drop a stone of joy. I'm throwing a couple in today. This is a concern for my dear friend Katie, who today is sitting vigil at her mother's deathbed up in St. Louis. Her mom is dying of Parkinson's disease, and she's with her right now. So stone for Katie. And then I also would like to share joy for the health and lives of my two sons. My oldest turned 18 on Friday, and he's doing great, Holton. And then Bran last Monday night at the Chiefs game caught the touchdown football and was on national television. So a joy for my two kiddos.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, let's check the chat box. And I'm not seeing any. So we are also going to honor the complex and heartbreaking struggles of our world. We drop a stone for all who are impacted. And in closing, for those joys and concerns that remain unspoken, we drop a stone. There we go.
That it?
That is it. May we hold each of these joys and concerns in our hearts and minds. May our community of love ease sorrow and boost celebration. Let us now join together in 1 minute of shared silence, followed by Spirit of Life.
this week in UU history. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm not sure which parts I'm doing today, so thank you for your grace with me. On November 7th, 1837, Elijah P. Lovejoy, publisher of The Observer in Alton, Illinois, was killed while mobs destroyed his printing presses for his abolitionist writings. Although Lovejoy had trained as a Presbyterian minister, his work for human rights drew him closer to liberal neighbors who had moved from New England and retained their Unitarian and Universalist upbringings. Offering our gifts to support the work of building inclusive and just communities is one of the many ways that we live into justice and equity together. Some of us have much to give, some of us have little, and as I always say, it's okay if some of us have none, because we're all in this together. We are enough to work together for a world where every human can live into their best and most authentic self. If electronic giving is your preferred method, or if you're on Zoom, virtual giving options are available via our website, springfielduu.org. The offertory is Lacrimosa from the Requiem Mass by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, arranged by John Prescott, performed by the First UU Choir.
am Reverend Michelle Scott Huffman. I'm the minister here at First UU. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a middle-aged woman of average height with short, spiky salt and pepper hair, wearing a sweater today that matches my hair. So there's that. The song that we were just hearing the choir sing, Lacrimosa, is a part of the Requiem Mass in D minor by Mozart. And you may or may not know that he didn't get to write all of that, but that he just wrote 8 measures of that. As we were planning for this service, our music director, John, said something quite valuable and helpful in thinking about the way that we orient ourselves to this day. And he talked about how Mozart didn't finish that piece, but that after his death, someone else picked it up to finish it. And I thought how that connects so well to the theme of this day, where we were celebrating All Souls Day. We're remembering those who have left us, who were important to us in our lives and in our faith, and thinking about the celebration of the end of the pledge drive and the way that we're carrying the work of this church forward as we move forward. And so, in some ways, all of us are the Süssmeier, the person who picks up after what the person who is now deceased has left off. And we get to finish the work, that we get to live this legacy of love that the people who have left us have given us before they departed. And so, as we come here this morning, we are invited to think about what that legacy is and how we might continue to live it out as a legacy of love. Today we remember the unfinished symphonies of love left in the wake of great souls, those great trees that Maya Angelou talks about, who came before us, the ones whose lives shaped ours, the ones who showed us something true and beautiful and necessary, and whose song now lives in us. Maya Angelou wrote in that poem, "When great trees fall, our senses, restored never to be the same, whisper to us, they existed. They existed. We can be and be better. They existed." That is the whisper of legacy. That each person who lives in this world connects with other people and forms relationships and does work and cares about things, and those things get passed down from grandparents to grandchildren and from friends to friends and from church members that have been in a place for 30, 40, and 50 years to church members who just walked in last week. Legacy is what's passed between us and among us that is a result of the lives that we live. It is a song that continues long after the composer is gone, and this is the holy work of memory, those balloons that Colin talked about this morning, to take up what has been left unfinished. The theologian Albert Schweitzer once said, "The only thing of importance when we depart will be the traces of love we've left behind." Not monuments or accomplishments or accolades, just traces. It's the little things. It's the little things that build up a legacy that someone else can carry on after we go. And that's what we're doing here in community, in a congregation. We're living in the traces of love by those who came before us, coming to services each week in sanctuaries that their hands built, singing hymns they once loved, and carrying forward the causes that they once championed. But it doesn't stop there. I had a really beautiful and very long conversation with Charles Gray about 2 weeks before he died. And he told me these fascinating stories about the life that he lived in a military band and all these wonderful things that he got to do, and accompanying bodies of dignitaries to exotic places. And then he told me stories about being a young teacher. And when he was telling me those stories about being a young teacher, he told me about all of the things that he's learned in his 80s and his 90s that he wished he had known in his 20s and 30s. And he shared with me his regret about the ways that he felt he hadn't done it the best because he hadn't learned enough yet about compassion, about entering into the struggles of other people, and sometimes he was jaded with his students who were facing hardships. And he said to me, I hope that the things that I've learned now, that other people learn earlier so they can incorporate them into their careers sooner than I got to. And I say all of that to say that when we honor someone's legacy, we don't leave them stuck in time, knowing only what they knew. Let me say this from a religious standpoint that some people in the room might know. I identify personally as a Christian, not that kind of Christian, wherever your mind just went, but a Christian nonetheless. And I think a lot about the words of Jesus in the Gospel of John in chapter 14, verse 12, where Jesus says, very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father. But what has happened with so much of the religion that came after that was that we enshrined the person of Jesus and only the things that he did and said, and assumed that none of it had anything to do with us. But very clearly there, he's telling us that it will be yours to do these things and then to do even greater things, because there are things that I don't know as a human being in this world right now that people 2,000 years from now will know and do differently. And friends, that's the difference between connecting with someone's legacy and getting stuck in their life and wanting to make that into a monument and to worship that thing. Because we are always invited to be continuing the living when we're living a legacy of love. Every time we come into the sanctuary and we light a chalice, or we play outside with the kids, or we teach some lesson about Unitarian Universalist history and theology, we sit downstairs in Seekers and have these deep, meaningful conversations about what we believe or don't believe and who we want to be in the world. Every time we do that, we're continuing a legacy of love that someone started before us. We are all Süssmeyers now, apprentices in the art of continuation, continuing to write the piece that someone left unfinished in our lives. And that's what makes this day of remembrance so powerful. Not that we get stuck in our grief and we get stuck worrying about those balloons that person is no longer holding, but that we make the connection between what they left here and what is ours now to do that honors their legacy. Because here's the truth. Every person we've ever loved has left us unfinished. Think about that for a moment. When you love another person, you learn things about yourself that you didn't know. When you love lots of different kinds of people, you learn lots of different kinds of things about yourself. And when those relationships end, or when that person is no longer here on this earth, they leave us unfinished. And the work that we get to do is integrating those learnings and that love into the life that we carry forward. So the question becomes, how will we live the love that we've inherited or been left with? When we give any part of ourselves, when we learn something new about a different religious tradition that we didn't know that could potentially make our own faith practice better, regardless of what that is. When we make a phone call to someone who's struggling that we don't know very well, but we met them in church. When we sit down across the table at Friendly Feast. All of those are ways of building the thing that we have come here to do together. To be a liberal voice for religion in the Ozarks. To be people who give and love and serve, to be people who care about justice, to be people who believe that you can have a faith and a religious practice without checking your brain somewhere else, to be people who believe that faith and science can be mutually beneficial. All of those things that we come here to practice are the continuation of a legacy that someone started before us and that we won't finish. And sometimes that's hard, to realize that we'll never quite get there ourselves. But the reality is that we don't even know where there is. Any more than a 22-year-old Charles Gray did. And all the people who came before us. And so the invitation is this. To think this week about the people who have loved us and the people we have loved. To think this week about the people who have been instrumental in building places that matter to us, whether it's a church or a university or some other system or institution. To think about who they were and what their dreams were, and how and where those dreams connect with our own. So that from this day forward, we live a legacy of love in such a way that when we are no longer here, someone else is inspired to pick up that unfinished work, to write a few more stanzas, knowing that it will never quite be finished. May your compassion today be someone's courage tomorrow. May your gift, your mentoring, your advocacy, your pledge give into the lives of the next student, the next dream, the next generation who will look back and whisper, they existed. They existed. Be and be better, for they existed. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude is an excerpt from Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven, performed by John Prescott. Our closing words today are inspired by our ancestors. That's the name of it. Not my commentary. By Leah Derland Jones. For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love as we go forth from this time and place. Let us be encouraged by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Our final song sometimes a celebration just breaks out. As we get ready to extinguish our communal and personal chalices, and I don't remember who lit the chalice, so I don't remember who's coming up to extinguish it. Thank you, Eric. Remember that we have Friendly Feast today, whether you brought something or not, there's plenty. Please stay and enjoy food and conversation with others. And we now extinguish our communal and personal chalices and close with our unison sending words. Our service here is ending. Our service to the world begins anew. Go in peace.